Have you always dreamed of having your own cloud server with gigabytes of space for experimentation? Good news! In AWS, it's simpler than you might think. Welcome to Microservices in the Cloud with Jay, where we delve into the fascinating world of microservices, the cloud, and modern IT architecture. In this video, we'll walk through, step by step and without unnecessary complications, how to set up a virtual AWS EC2 server. Amazon EC2, or Elastic Compute Cloud, is a service that lets you quickly create a virtual cloud server and pay only for the resources you actually use. You can easily adjust your computing power to match your needs and scale up or down depending on load. What's more, if you've just created an AWS account, you can get hundreds of free hours to play around. Today, we'll create an EC2 instance, set up security keys, and install Docker on our machine. This is the first stage, the foundation on which we'll later launch the Orders API microservice. Ready? Let's get started. The first step is to launch a virtual machine in AWS, which is called an EC2 instance. We go to the AWS Management Console, navigate to EC2, and click Launch Instance. On the configuration screen, you'll see a few important options: instance name, operating system, and instance type. In the instance name field, I enter Orders API, because that's the name of the microservice I'll be deploying on this machine. Next, I choose the operating system. I'm using Ubuntu Server 20.20 for LTS, which is simple, stable, and supported by Docker. After filtering, two options appear. I'll pick the one with SSD volume type. Without the additional SQL server, we'll be using MongoDB anyway. In the next step, under instance type, I can select from several different types, from the weakest to the strongest and most feature-rich machines. However, the default T2 Micro is perfectly sufficient for me, and it's covered by the free tier plan. With this plan, in the first year after creating an AWS account, you get 750 free hours per month. Now we come to an important moment. We need to choose an SSH key pair that will allow us to securely connect to the machine. I'm creating a new key pair, giving it a meaningful name, and downloading the PEM file. Without it, we won't be able to access the server. I leave the key type as the default and reliable RSA, and the PEM key format, which matches the popular open SSH standard. I'll make a separate video entirely about the different ways to use keys, where we'll also deal with the PPK format. After clicking Create Key Pair, the key file is saved to the Downloads folder on your computer. Then I move it to my home directory, inside the SSH folder. If you don't have that folder yet, you'll need to create it first. After adding the keys, we click Launch Instance and our machine starts up. It takes a few seconds, after which we can go to the view of our instance. What you should pay attention to is the status. Make sure it's running and not still initializing. If it shows running, check the IP assigned to your machine and make a note of it locally so you have it on hand. Now it's time for the first login. Go to your console, CMD, for example, and type the indicated command in the terminal. As you can see, it includes the location of your key in the SSH directory, as well as the Ubuntu username and the IP you copied from the AWS page. If you're connecting for the first time, AWS will ask about the fingerprint. Type yes, confirm, and then you'll get a message that your instance's IP has been permanently added to the known hosts file, which you'll find in the SSH directory next to the key file. After a moment, you'll see the console of your EC2 machine, and you can start installing the necessary tools. To check how much space you have to work with, enter the command df-h. On the T2 Micro machine, there's usually about 6 gigabytes of free space left, which is more than enough for our needs. Before we move on, we need to make sure the system is fully up to date. We'll run a command that updates the package list and installs the latest available versions of system components. This way, we avoid problems related to outdated dependencies and ensure our environment is stable. On the screen, you'll see a message about outdated libraries. This means that after updating the system, some services are still running on older library versions and should be restarted. You can just press Enter on the OK option to confirm restarting this service. The next step is adding Docker's GPG key to the system. A GPG key is a digital signature that lets the system verify the authenticity of packages downloaded from the official repository. This ensures you're installing original software, not something altered by a third party. Now prepare the command that adds the official Docker repository. Of course, you don't have to type it all out. I've prepared these commands for you, and you can copy them from the video description. Adding Docker's official repository tells the system where to download and update Docker packages from. Thanks to this, you'll be installing the latest versions directly from Docker's creators rather than from the standard Ubuntu repositories, which might have older versions. Next, we'll update the package list again and install Docker. Once that's done, we can start Docker and enable it to launch automatically at system startup. Finally, we'll check the version and the service status. If you see started Docker application, it means everything went smoothly. You've just installed Docker on EC2. In this episode, we configured our own server in the AWS EC2 cloud step by step. We created an instance, secured access with SSH keys, and connected to the machine. Then we installed Docker, which we'll use to deploy microservices. If you enjoyed this material and want more practical tips on cloud and microservices, subscribe to the channel and click so you won't miss the next episodes. Remember, this is just the beginning. In the next step, we'll handle installing Java, MongoDB, and running the orders API in a container. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments.